lettuce, Latuca sativa. After a long winter, there's nothing like a wonderful spring salad. It's a great crop to grow. It germinates readily. It is very hardy. It grows in the cold temperatures. And it's also very familiar to most people.
And it's a great way to experiment with all different kinds of heirloom varieties and all the different colors and textures that lettuce presents. So first you get to choose what kind of lettuce you want to raise. The most familiar probably head lettuce, like an iceberg lettuce. The good things about iceberg is obviously the texture, and it stores for a very long time.
It does.
And it makes a nice, tight, dense head. Another kind of lettuce is romaine. There's lots of actually beautiful colors of romaine. It's a little bit more tender, it has a long, strong rib, and it stands up to chopping in salads very well. And it's also much more tolerant to heat in the summer, so you can raise it much longer into the season. And there's beautiful colors, including specked colors such as flashy troutback. There's also a Boston type lettuce, very tender. Makes a loose head and a blanched, more white heart in the center. The fourth type is leaf lettuce. Leaf lettuce makes a really loose head, again, lots of different colors, and more tender, more nutritious than some of the other kinds of lettuce. You can also choose to raise a salad mix, so any of these as a tiny leaf lettuce, so then you can harvest them much earlier in the process.
As I mentioned earlier, lettuce is a pretty hardy plant as regards cool temperatures. So you can plant lettuce seed out in the garden as soon in the spring as the ground can be worked.
That makes it one of my favorite plants because it's one of the first ones that you can get out there and seed. So it germinates best between the temperatures of 60 and 65 degrees. You're going to put a little bit of attention into the bed prep, and it has a really tiny, thin seed. And you're going to plant it just on the surface of the soil with a thin covering of soil. It's really important to pay attention to moisture at that stage. The seeds, when you water them in, when you first plant them, have to stay wet until they germinate, and that's real important for germination.
Germination takes 7 to 10 days, and it's a bit of a finicky plant once it comes up. It likes a loose, sandy soil, plenty of organic material in it, and pay attention to your watering. It doesn't like to dry out.
If you want to just have leaf lettuce as small, tender cuttings, it's recommended to plant it outdoors. It's going to do best in that situation. If you want a head lettuce, then you're going to think about transplanting. And I think that it does best in plugs like this, because as the roots develop and they create a ball, it will help create a strong, tight head. So here I have seed. You can see that it's really, really thin and fine. In little plugs like this, we're going to put just a few seeds. And if you have vermiculite, then you can cover with vermiculite because the lettuce seed likes light to germinate, and then just press down real gently. Eric, what's your favorite kind of leaf lettuce?
Well, I really like Lola Rosa. It's a curly red lettuce that I assume from the name comes from Italy. But I also like red sales, and there are some green varieties. What I like in the salad bowl is a mix. The reds, the greens, and I think there's a speckled one, romaine, that you like.
Flashy troutback.
Oh, it's a great lettuce.
And a standard green, romaine, winter density. In the Bostons, do you have a favorite Boston?
I go for the old-fashioned, just the butter crunch variety myself, often.
Me too.
Yeah. Lettuce can be harvested at almost any stage. When the plants are young, the leaves will be sweet and tender. As they age, they'll become, the lettuce will become more bitter, and the leaves will be tougher in texture.
So when you're harvesting lettuce, you want to take care to do it early in the morning when there's still dew on the ground, because the leaves will still be full of that sweet water. If you wait until the sun has come out, that water will go into the ground, and the storage and the flavor will be much less. When you're harvesting, the normal way of doing it is called the cut and come again method. So if you take the plant and you're going to cut about 1/4 inch from the soil, and take any leaves that you're harvesting. If you leave any behind, they can mold or rot. If you have a clean cutting and you take all the leaves away, the plant will regenerate and grow back for a whole second harvest.
Lettuce varieties have a wide range of days to maturity. You can start harvesting most types of lettuce as soon as 28 days after germination, but the leaf lettuce matures after 40 days, and as I mentioned earlier, the head types, the iceberg lettuce, matures after 70 days.
Yeah, once the temperatures get warm, or if you happen to have not enough moisture for some reason, the plant's going to change entirely from that sweet, succulent, early spring plant into something very bitter, and it will move into a different stage.
It starts to set seed, and the texture becomes more grainy.
And then in terms of storage in your refrigerator, most people don't realize that the refrigerator is a bit too cold for lettuce. Refrigerator is about 40 degrees, and the lettuce would like to be 45, 50 degrees. So you can help the storage by putting it in plastic, maybe even with a paper towel or in a crisper drawer. And lettuce then can last for a few weeks.
Botanically, Lactuca sativa is the Latin binomial for lettuce. It's a member of the aster family, Asteraceae, with over 22,000 species. Lettuce is a close relative of the artichoke, chicory, endive, and sunflowers.
The English name for lettuce comes from the Latin lac, which is Latin for milk, referring to the milky juice that will come from lettuce.
Lettuce was considered an aphrodisiac food in ancient Egypt.
It's thought that Christopher Columbus introduced lettuce to the New World, and originally probably comes from the Greek island of Kos.